makes me happy when a company crushes it, and Buck has absolutely done that with this Onset 040. This blade is going to be rocking, made right here in America, S45VN steel with the amazing Buck heat treat. And so we're going to talk about all that today because we got a premium steel, and then we've got lines, designing, features that really are excellent. I mean, they're right out of the gate. I'm just going to tell you guys, this is an excellent, excellent folder, and I'm going to explain why it's connecting with me and why you might fall in love with this Onset as we break down the tool, the blade, the locking mechanism, ergonomics, all of that, and even run in a little bit of competitive options that is significantly more expensive. More and more brands are starting to use this type of steel, but I'm super glad that Buck is on the cutting edge of using this steel in production folders instead of in the past. Sometimes it seems like they lag really far behind in premium steel, creation and putting them into their design. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Onset, see what is awesome about it, and whether or not you're going to throw it in your collection or pass. Let's go ahead and get to it. Alrighty, let's have some fun, and I'm going to actually do this right out of the gate. Normally I do like not competitive options in this case because I don't really have anything with this type of steel that is competitive, but more perspective. Now, this guy usually is going for about $180 on average. We'll have a bunch of links for you guys below, so if throughout this video it makes sense for you. I think for that pricing you are getting quite a bit of knife. But for perspective, with that S45VN, it's my first knife really outside of this next one that has that steel, and it's a Rick Hinderer. I believe this is the XM-18. This is the Spanto style, kind of like a drop point slash Tanto version. I mean, we got titanium, and like obviously the quality control and fit and finish is higher than what you're going to be getting on the Buck, and you get like ball bearing options, and there's a lot of other features. It's just a bigger, thicker, beefier, more robust knife. But I paid like $425 for this Hinderer. And this guy again, 180. So you could buy two and have money left over compared to this blade, and they're rocking the exact same steel. So just take that in consideration. And Buck definitely knows what they're doing with heat treats. So that is something to note because it does have their Boss heat treat on there. So take that with a grain of salt. Think about it as we're talking about all the other aspects as we look at this that you can get. I'm not saying by any means it's like buying a Hinderer, that's not what I'm saying, but you can get a lot for, and it's using a steel that much more premium knives are currently starting to use. And we'll just talk about that steel briefly and the performance of this blade, which is right around 3¼ inches overall blade length, full flat grind, 90-degree spine. So there's a lot going on there. That steel, when we look at the specs and technical specs, it's right between S30V and S35VN, so it's not like this insane new steel, but it's it's got good wear resistance, good corrosion, and good toughness, and it's kind of a balancing of all of that. And I think, as I believe Spyderco's starting to use this in a couple of their blades, we're going to start seeing this steel probably more and more, and it's going to be this great blending of what, and could potentially replace a lot of S35VN and a lot of S30V, and kind of giving you the best of both worlds with that steel. So that's a great steel, and the edge retention and everything, as well as just tuning up, was very easy for me as well. I didn't have a lot of problems with that. And the edge on this, guys, it's almost like a Scandi edge. I mean, it's a very high initial grind. It just means that this thing is like stupid sharp. The edge geometry is bananas on this, and easily will cut through anything that comes in contact with it, from your fruits and vegetables to your cordage and cardboard and wood carving, and I mean, from outdoor to indoor, job site to your backyard, you're going to get a lot going on with this tool. And just the way they decided to use the full flat in combination with that edge geometry is fan freaking tastic. It's really awesome, guys. Seriously, I mean, seriously, I was so happy with that initial edge. Now, just because of how steep that edge is in that initial grind, we could argue it's maybe a little more fragile, a little bit more prone to damage if you were to cut and like hit the concrete or a rock or something, than say something that was a little fatter. But I would rather take that, particularly in a pocket knife, over something that has like a fatter edge that just doesn't cut as well. So this is a great slicing tool for just about anything you throw up against it. So since we just talked about the blade, I'm going to bounce back here to the pocket clip. It is righties only, even though it is a flipper. So lefties, sorry, you're out of luck. You're just going to have to use your right hand or carry it backwards in a weird way. 2 posts, good flare, good tension against that frame lock stainless steel side right there. So I mean, it's going to have really good retention in your pocket, but not thrash your pocket. So that's a really good thing. And then those pillars right there really stand it off, so it'll go over a lot of thicker pockets, but because of the tension, a thinner pocket, you're not going to lose it either. And at that pricing that I just shared with you, you definitely, this isn't something you're not going to want to lose. Now you have 2 options if you're really into lanyards. It does not have a lanyard hole, but you could run a lanyard through that kind of gap right there, or you could run a lanyard through that back post, and that would not be an issue because the blade is so far away from that back post, you're never going to nick it. So there are points where you could totally run a lanyard around it, but it does not have a dedicated lanyard hole. Now as we flip it over here, we're going to go to the G10, which is a medium grit. It's not heavy or coarse, but does give you good traction there. The points are simple, looks classic, no real issues there. And just kind of give you some perspective, there is a Rat Model 1. So I would say it's similar in size, though it is a little bit lighter at 4.5 ounces, whereas the Rat Model 1 is more like 5 and 5.2, something like that. So not a whole lot lighter, but it is, to me, noticeable, and it will be a little bit slimmer in the hand, being at 0.45 inches thick. You guys will have to pardon some of the road noise. I am filming this at our campground in Moab, Utah currently. So if some road noise or different things like that, that's what's going on in the background. But yeah, so just under 1/2 inch thick, so it's nice and slim, and definitely going to be slimmer than say like a Rat Model 1 or something along those lines. Good pronounced flipper. I like the little gap that they put in there, just give it a little bit of style. Not aggressive, but totally enough to grab onto. It's not sharp and going to hurt your finger, but everything that you would want to just flick open. Now it runs on ball bearings, so it's going to be nice and smooth in that regard. No issues there. Very fast, easily. It's fun to kind of like hold sideways almost, and boom, I just have to put pressure on that flipper, and then it cuts in and acts like a finger guard. And you can see there with my large size hands, everything that I would want, that nice sweep is very contoured, giving me the texture on one side, and then the stainless steel frame lock we're going to look at here in a second. Then drops in, and it's running on those bearings, but then also it's got a stop slit. So there's a slit on the G10 and on this frame lock where that has a little bar inside of it to stop it, so that when it goes up, it's kicking into a stop position, and that's what holds it into place. And the lockup is super solid, much better than most ball bearing style bushings. No rock side to side, none up and down. So a very, very solid. I'm very happy with that lockup design. Now we got that kind of stonewash stainless steel on that side, so that's really nice. Really cool. Good milling all the way around on those handles with that standoff flow through construction. And they even milled out the steel liner on this side. Hopefully you guys can see that in there to lighten it up. So I mean, they really went to town. Buck really did a number on this thing. Overstop travel right there with that disc, just giving it some cool accent as well. Good detent ball, so that clicks it into place. That tip is buried in the handle, so you're not going to accidentally flick it out. It's not going to accidentally come out. For me, the frame lock is positioned in such a place that it will not cause any issues to open up. It has just enough protruding that I can disengage it. It's not going to cause a hot spot or a problem in the ergonomic aspect. So that frame lock then as well hits about 40% of the back connection point right there, just so you can see that. Very good. I mean, it's excellent. Honestly, excellent. This is a freaking excellent knife, guys. Super, super excellent. Very, very pleased with it. Really cool. Really, really cool. And I'm just pleased that Buck is producing better stuff like this. Appreciate them sending this over to me to test and review, so that you guys can see what is going on, what they're producing, and so that you guys can really make a good choice. Is this something maybe, you were eyeballing a hinderer, and yes, this is absolutely an excellent blade and super cool. It just takes it to the next level. but this is a lot of knife and a lot of premium going into it, and I can't find an aspect to the design that I'm upset with, which is pretty rare. So I look forward to reading the comment section, guys. Let me know what you think. If there's anything that I missed that you have questions about, I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I invite you to check out the other video popping up, to subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. We're throwing up content like this all the time. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.